So Rockstar have decided to drop 3 new drift upgradable cars, and in this video I really just wanted to test them out, see how expensive these ones are. I'm not going to lie to you guys, one of these vehicles is extremely cheap. The only real downside to this is the drift tuning upgrade costing $200,000. So yeah, without wasting any more time, let's get into one of the new drift upgradable cars. You might be wondering what cars are drift upgradable, and there is a really easy way to check this. If you guys go into the LS car meet, run over to this computer, you can then press left on the D-pad and you will have a list of the drift vehicles. This also works if you guys have all of the HSW things as well on the current gen consoles. Definitely a really nice thing, and of course then you guys can choose from the list. On the list as well, you can be taken directly to the website, however it will not take you guys directly to the vehicles, and at least in my opinion I think that is a pretty poor decision, because you still then have to look through all of the website just to find one of the vehicles. With this cleared up, I then went ahead and bought all 3 of the new ones. So we have the Karin Futo, which is the standard one, and you guys will see there that this will only cost me $9,000. And just looking at this price, I do believe that this is probably one of the cheapest drift vehicles that we have. Even if you guys do not put on the drift tuning upgrade, it is still a really good vehicle. Another new vehicle that there was with this drift tuning, it was the Jester Classic. Now I already purchased this before, so I obviously don't need to do it again. If you are wondering how much the Jester Classic is, it will set you guys back $790,000. You can already see there is a massive price difference between the Futo and the Jester Classic. And then for the last vehicle that was added to the drift upgradable list, it was the Rune Cheburek. Now I thought this vehicle would have been cheaper than the Futo. I could not be bothered going through the websites just to find this one, and I did remember it is at Simeon's Auto Shop, so I just purchased it from here. Along with this, there is some other drift vehicles at Simeon's Auto Shop. So we have the Cypher, we also have the FR36, which is probably one of the best ones. It is at least first or second, I would say. It just handles incredibly well when drifting. And at the time of making this video, the discounts this week include a large majority of these drift vehicles. As you will see here on screen, with a 30% discount, we have the Cypher, the Cheburek, the FR36, the Futo GTX, the Jester RR, and then the Vulcan Nebula Turbo. If I was going to suggest any of them vehicles here, I would definitely go for the Jester RR or the FR36. I just love how the Jester looks. Obviously, this will not be that Jester Classic. And just remember, the Futo GTX is not the standard Futo, but both of them do have the drift upgrades. The only way that you guys can upgrade these different drift cars is at the LS car meet, or instead, if you have a GTA Plus membership, you can do this at that Vinewood Club garage. Now, if you guys want to do this at the LS car meet and do not have GTA Plus, you will have to purchase the membership, which will cost you guys $50,000, but this is only a one-off fee. So after purchasing this, you don't have to do it again. And of course, this will be how you can customize your vehicles. After driving the Futo inside the mod shop, you will see that the drift tuning is at the top here, and it will cost me $200,000 to apply this. After applied, it will cost you guys $50,000 to remove it if you really wanted to. I'm glad that they do have an option to do that, just in case you guys wanted to use it again as a normal vehicle. But like many of the other drift upgradable cars, after you guys actually buy this drift tuning kit, you do get access to some new liveries. So after customizing the vehicle just a little bit, you will see that I do have these drifting sort of liveries here. Now, I didn't really show it too well on this Futo because I should have probably showed you guys before I put the drift tuning on and then showed you it again after. I did do this with one of the other vehicles later on, so you will see how many liveries get added. After some more time just customizing the Futo, you will see this is what I ended up with. Honestly, it looks pretty cool. Just remember, pretty much all of the other things on the Futo are just basic upgrades, and it is not a new vehicle by any means. It has been in the game for a long time. The only new things will probably be these liveries. Before we test out the Futo, we need to move on to one of the other drift upgradable cars. I decided to do the Cheburek because I already have the Jester Classic done. Now, this is the vehicle that I actually looked at the liveries first. You will see here that the last one in this livery list was rusted. A pretty awful livery, I'm not going to lie. So yeah, if we just take note of that and then upgrade the vehicle with the drift tuning, go back to the livery tab, we unlocked 4 new liveries for this vehicle. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I believe though, if you do take off the drift tuning, it will also take off the livery with that. So maybe something to potentially keep in mind if you guys are doing this as well. But yeah, I think this is really cool. Another really cool thing about the Cheburek is that you can apply these different cardboard parts. So I decided to actually go for this. I thought it was super funny. You can get a cardboard spoiler, the skirts, bumpers, even some parts of the hood. I never even knew that you guys could do this because I have never owned a Cheburek. So yeah, just really different. Now in terms of just testing testing these vehicles out, I just took them one by one into the LS car meet test track. I started with the Cheburek, and honestly, in terms of drifting, it's not going to be too bad. I think the only downside to this is its speed or acceleration. I don't really know which one it is that lets it down the most. It feels like other drift vehicles can really pick up speed and then drift afterwards, or drift at the same time, whereas the Cheburek really seems to struggle with that. Would I still say that the Cheburek is worth it? I would probably say just for these different type of upgrades alone, maybe it is. I also think the liveries which are unlocked with the drift tuning are super cool on this one, and if you guys like collecting these type of vehicles, it will be a good purchase. The next one that I tested was the Futo. This one was easily one of my favorites, I think. Just straight away how fast it can accelerate and stuff, and then drift. This one genuinely surprised me to how different it was from the Cheburek, because with that vehicle it definitely felt a little bit too slow, and with drifting I at least think that you need some speed, because then you guys will be able to hit some really nice drifts like this, and it just feels so much better. And for the Futo's price at only $9,000, obviously with the $200,000 on top of that, I think this will be a great car to start drifting in. And then the final drift vehicle that we had was the Jester Classic. Honestly, I think this is really similar to the Futo. The only downside to the Jester Classic is its price at nearly $800,000 alone, and on top of this you then have to factor in the drift tuning upgrade cost at $200,000, so just under $1 million, and that is without any other upgrades done to it, just having drift tuning and the stock vehicle. I mean, if you guys have the money for this, maybe get this. I still think that the Jester RR is such a better vehicle than this one. I just love how that vehicle handles, also how it looks, but in my opinion at least, I think this Jester Classic really does handle pretty similar to the Futo, and if I was going to choose one of them, I would at least go for the Futo over the Jester Classic, and it really comes down to that price. I also think the Futo just looks a little bit better than the Jester Classic. I'm not really sure why, but the Jester Classic to me just looks a little bit off. Obviously you guys might be thinking differently, but there is something that puts me off the Jester Classic. Now, along with these 3 new drift vehicles, just remember Rockstar did add 3 new drift races. You'll see them all on screen here. I think they are really good, and drift races are super fun to play. Even if you guys play them solo, you can still have a blast. And I think one of the most underrated parts about these drift races is that you get to try out these drift vehicles before actually buying them. You can just choose any one of them, start drifting with it, and see what you guys think. And I would actually recommend doing this. So yeah, that will be all 3 of these drift vehicles. Just remember they all have their special sort of liveries after you put on the drift tuning upgrade. I think the only one that I did not show was probably the Jester Classic, but I would still recommend checking it out and seeing what you guys think. Just be very careful because it will cost you guys a lot of money, and it doesn't have a discount this week, with the Cheburek being the only vehicle with that 30% off. Obviously the Futo on its own probably does not even need a discount. If you guys have a 30% discount off the Futo, it may as well just be free. But yeah, what do you guys think about these ones? I'm really happy to see that Rockstar is still adding some drift tuning upgrades and stuff to some various vehicles. Also, let me know if you guys have tried these ones yet, or maybe even just say which is your favorite drift tuning upgradable car. Like I've said, in my opinion at least, I think the Jester RR or the Fathom FR36 are probably my all-time favorite. But yeah guys, if you went on to enjoy this video or found it useful in some way, shape or form, make sure to leave a like. I always appreciate your support, and as always, if you are new here and like what you see, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon to never miss a video. Bye, and the guys, stay safe, thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.